G'day viewers, I came in here yesterday and I noticed the RCD had tripped. When I opened this door in this caravan, it's not something burnt. And unfortunately, my bloody old Mitsubishi transformer burnt out. What a bugger. I monitored this thing and then it ran for the past bloody 4 months straight. And it was happy, it wasn't warm or anything. So something must have gone short suddenly somewhere. Maybe because it was on for such a long time, the vibrations of one of the windings vibrated through and rubbed through and shorted out that way. Maybe that's how it failed. You can see the bloody mess it made though. Whew, damn, that got hot. Very lucky it didn't catch fire too much. So I'm happy with that. That was a good transformer too. Now I don't have a 110 volt step down transformer. Bugger. What a shame. It was such a good transformer too, damn it. There you go, it rolled itself. Being a TV transformer was pretty damn reliable and it suddenly just burnt out of the blue. Well, I knew I should have put a fuse or something on this bloody thing. It was out of the way unless maybe the cord got bumped and shorted it out. I didn't realise. Yeah, that might have been what happened. Maybe that's what happened. Because this wouldn't have burnt out on its own. It's a bloody good transformer. Maybe the cord got bumped and hit that and may have shorted out that way. But because it's on that back, I had the battery connected to it. On that the battery's that, but it would have sparked and burnt the wire back from the power of the battery. So I would have known if I had bumped the wire and shorted out. I would have known about it. So it wasn't that. Interesting. Anyway, it's a shame. It was a good transformer. Oh well. Hopefully I can get another transformer like that from somewhere. Those TVs, they came out of a T collectible now, so if there's any wrecks I can come across, the TVs like this are the write-offs, they got those transformers and we're keeping them. I've also did some clean up on this shaft, ran some sandpaper over it and a rag, got it nice and shiny. The back bearing I'm going to try and get to lubricate it. It's got the same cap like this has got here at the front. But getting that fan off is unbelievably impossible. I've got the keyway out. I can move that. I just sprayed it all with some CRC 556 penetrating oil. Hopefully that'll loosen it off so I can get that bearing serviced. That's the only noisy part about it, is that back bearing. I'm going to have to pull this motor here apart, as I said earlier. It's a bit of a bloody monster to pull apart actually. It's very heavily made. I don't do those 4 bolts. Under those, there's a circlip off the bearing I'm going to pull off the shaft. There's a plate behind this which goes behind there. No, excuse me. It holds a bearing essential, but I've got to be careful how I put it back together because now it's stiff. It won't turn very easily. I've got to get that bearing dead straight, otherwise the motor won't turn fairly. So I'm going to have to replace all this wiring and yeah, get another capacitor. That capacitor there off the metal halide light works good on that motor. Starts that one there good, but not this one. Yeah, the old rubber wiring, you can see it's all breaking apart. And that's the wire out of this power lead. Got a good bakelite plug out of it there. Anyway, let's see if I can The old man must have been here. Dad's tipped it over on me. I've almost got this thing freed up. It's the piston that's seized in the bore on this compressor. But everything, the bottom end's all freed up. It's just the bore is nice and smooth. I got very lightly ran some sandpaper over it. It feels pretty smooth. Put some of this in there just to soak it a bit. And the pulley, it's actually been done previously, but I've noticed that pulley's got some cracks all through it. It's been over tightened and someone's hit it to try and unseize this compressor in the past, so someone else had a go at this and cracked the pulley. I've overfoot it with oil, foot it to about here. It was supposed to be about here, this level somewhere. I only put some Castrol 15W40, just cheap oil in there to try and preserve the bottom end, keep everything lubricated. Because this is bloody hardened steel, I cannot get the vice grips or the steel sins apart, but should grab onto that. I have to very carefully just tap tap the con rod as I go down. Very carefully, I don't want to damage it. It's actually an old refrigeration compressor off a really old condenser unit. Got the there's this plugs on this side, the water bolted onto a stand. Get the refrigerant going in. One way and the other, just like a normal traditional hermetic compressor. This is a semi-hermetic refrigerant compressor. It's where you charge it from, and there. Yeah, would have been off a really old condensing unit, this one. I've got to make a base for it so I can bolt it down so it sits straight and replace the seal in there. It's a copper washer. It's got like a little lip seal on this shaft. The rubber inside that's gone all hard. They'll put some aviation gasket compound on the bottom to seal it, and that's worked quite well. Just to unseize this thing is a nightmare. It's pretty well seized. That piston is stuck in that bore like you won't believe. As you can see, she's got a pretty big bottom end on her, this compressor. Big ass bloody bottom end. And it's all been soaked. Piston is bloody stuck. I have to carefully tap on this and turn down so it goes in slowly, and carefully tap on this. Very carefully, it's all brass, that. This will feed up quite well. It's a very well made compressor. That all moves quite well. It's just this bloody piston that's so stuck in the bore, it's not funny. Moves a little bit. The piston's the only thing that seized, everything else moves, so it's got to get that piston feed. And as careful as I can, tapping on the bottom of that con rod carefully, and turn that with my other hand, carefully. That's as high as I got it. I just tapped it down about 2 mil. So it's getting there. I'm going to be very careful and gentle that I don't bust it up and ruin it. It'd be a shame to wreck this. So I'm going to put something soft on there and just tap it. This is actually heated up, and as it's hot, then I put the piston in. There's actually no rings on that. It's a heat the block up, heat the bore up, then put the piston in. Otherwise, that's how much tolerance there is in there. If you try and pull this piston out, you won't get it back in. You have to heat the block up so it expands, then the piston will fit through. So there's no tolerance there. It's very tight. Very tight. So it'll be a bloody good compressor once I free that. Being very careful with the socket and tapping it on the top of the piston and bashing it carefully with a hammer. I've freed it to that point there though. Goes halfway. That rust, I've got CRC in there, eating that rust off. I don't have to put much force on that and it will jam hard. To the point I've got to tap it back down again. Damage the piston too much. See? Jammed it. No, not going to come. It's getting more and more though. It's getting better. That's a very hard steel. I can't get the vice grips to grip on that. It's just wrecking the vice grips. And they're German made vice grips too. Ah, stuck. Wrecked compressor. There you go. I had a thing in a drill, a little a wire brush flap wheel there, a flap disc. Where is it? Had that in there. Gave it a light run with that, and that's got the light surface rust off to the point it feels really good. So I'm not going to do any more than that. I don't want to take too much off. Getting better. Stuck again. Tedious process. Oops. Getting there. There you go, there's a spring at the back of that. Underneath this block there's a spring which holds it centre. Yeah, it's that point there, it's stuck. if I were to pour this out completely, I won't get it back in. I'll have to heat the block up to get the block to expand and the point to get the piston to fit. Keep doing this carefully. It's getting there though. It's getting better. And it moves quite well. It's quite a nice little compressor. A little rust coming off it. No, there you go. Oh, you bugger. Ah, stuck again. Bloody glass grips they're too soft. That's not, this is actually, this shaft is a lot harder than what this bloody vice grips is. Not made of hard enough steel. Bloody tedious, I tell you. I don't want to damage this compressor, I'm going to be very careful. There you go. There's a little slot there where the oil goes through. Interesting. Like a bypass thing. I think it could be in a fridge compressor. But I've never actually seen one quite like that there with a slot in the bore like that. That's interesting. Huh. I put up some pressure to a point, but not much. Interesting. Anyway, I keep playing with it. It'll go all the way eventually. It's a bit more careful to go over with that, and she's free. Look at that. Awesome. Well, she's stiff there. Keep 556ing it and blowing the fine dust out of it, and she's freed up. Got to wear it back in. Bit of a score on the ball there, though. I don't know what happened there. Stiff. It's free. We have a good compressor now. Yeah, it's freaking hard. It's not a score. It's just a shiny part. Oh, there's nothing in that bloody oil. Go with that piston. Might have to put a piston out, but then they're going to get the bastard back in. So the trouble with refrigeration compressors, especially this type, I have to heat this up, get it hot, in order to get the piston back in. Otherwise, once I get the piston out, I'm never going to get it back in. It's that tight in there. The tolerance is that tight. I'm not squeezing it that hard in the vise either. There's a tiny oil hole you got to pour through. I'll tip it upside down, pour the oil in, and put the head on. Let the oil blow out of the head when I run it. Because the oil runs back down that as it pumps refrigerant. Goes back into the in the bore, the block, the case, crankcase. There's a little chamber in there that collects the oil, goes back down in there. So I won't spit much oil out the exhaust. You see the rust there. I'll muss it off as I can. There you go. It's free. Alright, I'll whack it back together and fill it back up with oil, and she's fixed. I'll make a stand for it next and run it on that little 3-phase motor. Eventually, that'll be my next project. Anyway, thanks for watching.